after reading the 150-page doc and what even is CM doc, I want to share some thoughts about sparks, which ones are actually good and which ones aren't as important. These are things I wish I knew when I first started because it would have saved me mental stress and helped me realize what is important in spark farming. We'll go over blue sparks, pink sparks, or red. Some documents call them red. To me, they're pink. Green sparks and white sparks, why they're important, why I think some of these are not as important, and what I think we could do to fix the problem very early before it gets out of hand. So one of the things that I'd always read was, yo, you need to get 3-star blue sparks, you need to get power, you need to get stam, you need to get speed, you need to get 3 stars so you can make your 9 stars so you can go on forward and move on and move on and move on. And for like the first 2 weeks, I was sitting there, oh my god, I gotta get these 3 stars, I gotta get these 3 stars. Yeah, I did 250 runs and got 3 stars. And it was not fun. It was horrendous. My mental went boom multiple times. I had a couple friends who helped me recover my mental, but it just was not pretty and it was not fun at all. So I finally read the 150-page doc, and then I was like, there are some things I agree with, there are some things I don't agree with. And then this doc came into my hands, this What Even Is CM doc. This thing has kind of changed a lot of different viewpoints that I hear being regurgitated from different people, and now I'm starting to hear a lot of different things. So I want to piece together these things and just tell you what I think about all of these, and hopefully this will help you. So to get started, let's talk about what these sparks are. Your blue sparks are going to help you from this. If you haven't seen this chart, this is basically a diagram chart. It's like, hey, you follow this line and you go from here. Basically, to get these blue sparks, you want to have certain stat numbers. So for instance, if you have 1100 speed, you can say yes or no. If you go down to no, does your Uma have 600? Yes. Okay, well, if they have 600, you have a 50% chance to get a 1-star blue, a 45% chance to get a 2-star blue speed, and then a 6% chance to get this 3-star blue speed. And it's the same thing for all of these around here, but it's just a random 20% before it even picks which line it goes down. So after seeing this, I was like, oh man, I gotta get 1100 and I need to get 600 on the other 2 stats, and that's really all I did for a very long time, and that was not fun. It absolutely sucked. These green sparks come from your character being a 3-star rarity. This is not potential levels. You would want to go see these characters at star unlock, and any character that has a 3-star here, they will be able to pass their skill on in the form of that green spark. However, if they are 2-star and below, like you see this Mayono Top Gun, Mejiro Ryan, Winning Ticket Haru Urara, and Matekane Fukukitaru, these are 2 stars and they will not pass their skill along as a green spark. These pink sparks that we see here, like Late Surger and Mile, these are determined when you're doing a run by your character's final aptitude of that thing. So for instance, we see here, if I have an A in Mile and an S in Medium, there's a bit of a chance, a little bit more weighted chance that I'll get a medium pink spark. There's a little bit more weighted chance that I'll get a turf spark because this is an S and this is an S. If they were both A's and it was Mile A, Pace, Late, Medium, and Turf, if all of those were an A, I would have a chance of getting them as a pink spark. Anything B and below will not be a pink spark. This is important to know because you will be able to push some characters from lower rated aptitudes into higher rated aptitudes. So if I wanted to, I could make this end be an A. I will not be able to make it an S rank off the beginning page when I'm picking my legacies. I can only get it to an S rank when you're going through your career run and you go into that inspiration event. And as you see here, I did actually hit turf because again, this was the S, so a little bit more weight of a chance for the turf and the medium, and turf is totally fine here. To increase your letter aptitude, you want to have 1, 4, 7, and 10 of whatever it is that you're looking for. So if I wanted to get this C to a B, I would need 1 end pink spark. If I wanted to get it from a B to an A, I would need 4 end pink sparks, whether that's 3 stars here and 1 star here, or if it's 2 2. Or if you wanted to make it like really like not pretty, you could go like one end here, 1 end here, and then 2 ends here. That would be like really ugly, but you get the point. And finally, we have our white sparks. There are 2 different kinds of white sparks. There are race sparks and there are skill sparks. Now, if you go to Gametora and you click on database and then you click on G1 sparks, it'll take you to this page. Now, if you run these races, you have to win first place in the race in order to get this 20% chance to get this race's spark. So for instance, if I win the Hopeful Stakes, I could get a speed and stamina spark. It would be called the Hopeful Stakes and it'd look like a white spark, and you would get speed and stamina. For instance, if we take a look at Satsuki Show, if I were to win first place in this race, and then I would get that 20% chance at the end of my career, and let's just say I get it, it would look like this. So it would look like this Satsuki Show right here. This was a 1 star, and you do see it says I get power, and it gives a hint for the Nakayama race course. So this is the first type of white spark that we have available to us. The second type of white spark is the skill white sparks. Now this is like where everything comes together, and this like saved me so much mental energy and just so much more fun has been had because of these white spark farming. So when you buy a skill in the game during your career, that then gives you a chance to have that skill become a white spark after the career is done. Gold skills like this, you cannot get a spark for that. You can only get it for the tier below it. So for something like Unrestrained, it would be Final Push. For Restless, I believe the lower tier skill underneath that is Moxie. Those would be the sparks that I would be looking for these gold skills. However, these other skills like this, I would get what it calls it there. So Playtime's Over would be a Playtime's Over white skill spark. And we can see this over here. Oh, Restless, I have Restless here, and I got Moxie right here. For Unrestrained, I got Final Push right here. One of the 2 scenarios that you could come across is, should I buy the gold skills or should I buy the white skills? If you buy the white skills, you are basically giving yourself a higher % chance to get the lower tier skill as a white spark, and that is one route you could take. You could also take the route that says that's a bit more expensive. I'll just buy the white skill and it'd be cheaper, but it would allow me to buy more skills overall. That could be the other route that you take as well. As you can see, I chose to go for the gold skills, which it actually netted me the Final Push and the Moxie. That's the route that I prefer to take. You can choose whichever one that you would like. It doesn't really matter. Now that we know what our blue, green, pink, or red and white skill sparks are, the big thing that I always heard, especially when Global first launched, was, yo, just get these 3-star blues, get these 3-star blues, get these 3-star blues. So a lot of sparks that I had seen would look like this. And mind you, I believe that this was a 3-star underneath, so this was actually a 9-star. This is something that I would be like, oh my god, this is like the most perfect, goated ever, like spark that I could ever see. To which I would say, yeah, I truly believe that. However, I don't believe that anymore. Because something like this is just way better. There are a couple reasons why I say that something like this is better, even though it's not a 3-star power. One of the quotes that I'm going to butcher from the What Even Is CM guide that I read was, you can always get more stats, but one of the things that you can't get is aptitudes. And so aptitudes being for these distances, the track, and the style. Personally, I think it is in that order of importance. As far as distance should be like your main pink spark that you'd like to go after, and then turf is your second most important, and then style is your third most important. That's how I would rank it. But not only that, I had this realization on stream, and when I said it, I was like, man, I gotta think about this. I thought about it, and then I was like, man, this was pretty good. I just dropped this from off the top of my head, and I really wanted to share this with y'all. The reason why white skills or a spark like this is just so much better is because you get these skills from different cards. So on this second document that goes hand in hand with this what even is CM doc, this tells you what decks you could run in order to pass on good skills to certain styles of running that you're going to be doing for your Umas. So if you look down here at the bottom, they have this FAQ here, but down here, this is the parent front 2.0. Okay, so I'm running something relatively similar to these decks, but if you look at these skills, they are prioritizing these skills from these cards. Now this is going to be very info heavy, so I'm going to try to be as clear as I can, so try to stay with me. These cards are not cards that you would run on somebody that is your ace character, meaning you are going to take them to your champions meet and you are banking on them to win you first place all the marbles. Okay, you're not going to run something like this. You'll probably be running like Sweep Tosho, King Halo, Super Creek, you know, things like that compared to these rare cards. So the reason why you run these rare cards is because they give you a chance for hints. And remember two things. The first thing to remember is hints allow you to buy skills at a discount, which means you can buy more skills. Secondly, the more skills you buy, the more potential white sparks you have a chance at. And so that's why something like this can exist. The left-handed and then these corner adept and corner recovery all the way down are all skills. The Kikkasho and the Osaka High are 2 races. Why is this important? And here is that little tidbit that I said on stream. Because when you take skills from these cards and you put them onto your legacy, remember this game you can only use 6 support cards, but when you pass on skills through legacies like this, you're now playing with more than just 6. Because, and for the case in point of what I'm trying to go after, I would like to go for a front running style, and I want to get PTO, which is playtime's over. This is from this Ines Fujin card, SSR. This is a Guts card. I'm not running a Guts card when I'm gonna be going after my best stat character. But guess what? If I can take this Ines Fujin card, get her PTO, or playtime's over, as a white spark, put it on a parent, and then put that on a person, and then just continually have it so that everybody, like the 2 grandparents and the parent, has all playtime's over, my chance for getting the playtime's over inheritance on the inspiration event will be higher. And you can see that on this what even is CM doc. This is like super tiny, but this is what it looks like. So these stats will increase the more people that have playtimes over, from the grandparents to the parents and all this stuff. It even shows you the percent chance for white with just the circle, the double circle, and if you get a gold inspiration. And this is what a gold inspiration looks like. And if you see from that clip how it was gold, if it's just a white one, then where it was all gold, you'll just see white. So now that you see that you have the ability to pass on these skills from these support cards, I hope now you can start to see why something like this is so much better than either one of these two. Because in this deck, I'm only playing with 6 support cards. But with something like this, where I'm getting Slipstream and Steadfast and Up-Tempo and Playtime's Over, these are coming from different cards that I'm not even running. And so now instead of playing with 6, I'm playing with 7, I'm playing with 8. And then, you know, as you can build up one side of the tree for having certain skills, guess what? You can build up your other side to have other skills. And now you have, instead of 6, 7, 8, you may have 9, 10, 11 cards that you're getting skills from, that you're passing them on. And this is why the power of the white sparks is so much better than just these straight up blue sparks. Now, thankfully, I did not make this doc. They already had this made. But there are 2 places that you can look. On this what even is CM doc, you can go to the skills and supports. and they will show you what all these skills are that are universal picks. These are skills that front runners need. Here are your green skills that you could like, your blue skills, yellow skills, and it just goes on and on and on to tell you what skills are here. Now, if you don't want to go through this and find these out for yourself, you can go to these deck lists over here, and you can find what these cards are giving you and where they're giving you from. So for instance, this Tazuna SSR, you see it says date before the end of junior year, and then you'll get the tail held high from that Tazuna card, and it tells you where you get everything from. This is just for front runners. They've got pace chasers, they got the late surgers and the end runners. They even have debuffers. And then as well, whenever you're running your ace character, they have options for all of these. Now, obviously, you'd have to slot different things in. Like if you're running Suzuka, you can't run a Suzuka card. So you'd have, you know, other things that you could put in there, alternatives. But this is where the game is like opened up. Because now you may say, hey, I have something that looks like this and it's a 9-star. I must be doing like pretty decent, right? Well, if we were to pick this apart, obviously the first things first is there is no green sparks. So none of these characters are 3-star. That will come in time. We're not worried about that. But the kind of the bigger issue here is, for me, is it's not as synergistic as it could be if these were either both medium or they were both long. The turf being here is completely fine. If we had more white skills here, this would just make buying skills cheaper. To case in point, you may say some of those skills don't really matter for characters like Silent Suzuka. She gets some of these skills in her potential for free. Why would those white sparks matter? And honestly, that's a great question. Why would they matter? And here's the answer. Do you want to pay full price for something that you could get at a 30-40% discount? Because this may just be me being cheap, but I'm taking that 40% off. I'll take that 25% off. It don't matter to me. If I can save skill points on these skills, I most definitely will. Because you may say, oh, well, you can't discount the gold skills. Okay, that's fair. But what if that gold skill don't hit and you don't have a chance to buy it? You're gonna have to buy this fast pace. You're gonna have to buy this this focus or this gate kept. No, it would be focus. You want to buy that at full price? Because let me tell you, I don't want to. I'm cheap. And you know what? I want as many skills as I can possibly get. So even if your character can get them for free, it doesn't mean that they're on discount. So getting these extra white sparks with these skills that are listed here with best priority good on all these things right here just makes your life so much easier. And this little mid-race combo, this is such an insane combo, because when I read this, I was like, wait a minute, that's genius. I would actually want all 4 of these, because this is how it would work. If I'm behind an Uma, I would get Slipstream, which would help me go a little bit faster. But then I would also activate Ramp Up, which activates when I'm passing somebody. And then as I go and I get in front of them, I activate Playtime's Over, which only works when I'm in front of the Uma. And then guess what? Because I activated 3 skills in the mid-race, Tail Held High procs, and then I just take off running. And actually crazy combo, okay? So they've got some good options in here, and I really think they've picked some very strong things. I would highly recommend that you, 1, read this doc, 2, take a look at these decks and start working on these white skills. And so now you might ask me, well, why does this help with the mental stress relief in this game? And that is such a great question, because I was also confused by this. Well, now that you're not going after 1100 of one stat and then 6 in the other 2 stats, it relieves the pressure, because first off, you got to understand your white sparks are just going to be from winning races. And you're running these really terrible cards. If you look at the decks that I'm running, I got 2 speeds, a POW, a wit, a stam, and a guts card. Like, this is a terrible deck. And it doesn't matter, because the goal now goes from 1166 to just win and buy the skills that I can get. If I can get 600 here, that's awesome. And if I can't, it's okay. Because sometimes you'll just get a random hit like this. Does this suck that this is wit? Yeah, it does. But guess what? It kind of got saved because it hit sprint. Because now, aside of the medium straightaways, I have Slipstream and I have Playtime's Over, and I've got sprint here. So whenever the sprint Champions Meet comes out, I'm already have a great foundation to start making my upcoming grandparents and parents and all the way up to start getting into my ace runs. So you may run into like silly things like this, but don't let it ever like tell you like, oh man, this is terrible, like this sucked. Like, no, dude, I had this run. I somehow lost. I didn't even beat the career. Look, I lost in sprinter stakes. And because I lost somehow with these stats, I didn't get to buy more skills. But look, had I beaten the rest of that career, this was on track to be insane. And it was a 1-star blue, and I don't care. Because these are just the grandparents. I just want these skills, man. And now hopefully you can kind of see where the strength lies in these white and pink sparks. The synergy from the pink sparks is very important. I would say that's like your #1 priority. And then being able to put in those skills that you're looking for is your next priority. And then, hey, if you hit a 2-star speed, stamina, power, cherry on top. Now, am I saying that I only want 1-star blues? No, I would love to have them to be 2s. I'd love for them to be 3s. But that's no longer the main focus. It goes from so much stress of getting 11-6-6, of winning everything, of getting the perfect high rolls just for this one blue, to now everything is so laid back of, let me just get 600s here, let me hope for this pink aptitude spark, and then let me pray that I get all of these skills. And let me tell you, winning the races is relatively easy. As long as you have just the right amount of stats, you'll be fine. You're really just now praying for the correct pink aptitude spark and white skills. You can worry about your ace runs of getting like the most optimal super juicy thing after you get all these white ones. Because now, like I said, you go from playing with 6 support cards and getting skills from 6 support cards to now getting skills from 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different support cards, depending on how you decide to build your trees. I know this was a long video, and I really do hope this helped. If it helped you ease your mental stress, if it helped you see Sparks in a different point of view, in a different mindset, please let me know down below. Share this with your club mates, share this with your friends, share it with your family, share it with your family's friends, club mates. Share it with them all. You know what I'm saying? And if you like this content like this, please feel free to subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff, comment. Y'all already know how it is. And if you want to be part of the community cups that I do hold from time to time, you can always join my stream at twitch.tv/Tuglo, or you could join here on the channel. I do multi-stream. I will say just join the Discord so that way you can see when I go live, because I do go live later into the night as far as like US time zone is concerned. Thank you so much for watching the video, and hopefully I will catch you in the next one. Peace.